Welcome back. We are coming to you live this morning from Washington, D.C., and I am sitting with National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow in an exclusive interview this morning. And we were talking about China and what you can get done. How important is tomorrow and Thursday in terms of meeting a deadline that March 1st in terms of a deal on the table?
I think it's very important. Look,
Do you think you'll get a deal by March 1?
I don't want to predict. It's just too hard to predict. And, of course, these are decisions that will be made by the president, who is his own best negotiator. Best I can do is, as I said, the scope of this thing is going to be as wide and broad as anything we've ever seen. That does not ensure positive outcomes, right? I think everybody, including the president, is basically moderately optimistic about this.
Let me ask you, your tax plan.
One other thought, which the president believes that he and President Xi will probably be the ultimate negotiators, okay? And the work being done tomorrow and Thursday is vitally important to lay out options, okay? But
so the president will be involved in these talks tomorrow and Thursday?
That is what he has been saying in our meetings. And I hope so, because he's a great negotiator.
Let me move on to the tax plan, because you're hearing a lot of ideas in terms of taxes now. Now, with a lot of 2020 hopefuls, the Tax and Jobs Act obviously did move the needle on economic growth, along with the deregulation out of this administration. Now you've got Elizabeth Warren talking about 2 to 3% tax on the very high wealth people. So if you have $50 million in wealth, you'll get 2% tax. If you've got $1 billion in assets, you'll get taxed 3%. And you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking about tax of 70% on the highest earners. What is your take on this? Give us your reaction and what kind of an impact those policies might have.
Right. These are prosperity killers. These are growth killers. These are job killers. These are incentive killers. This is a return to some heavy government planning, centrally directed economy. You know, I hate to dwell on this because it's a crisis right now, but take a look at Venezuela. Just for the heck of it,
there was a time when that was vibrant. It was a vibrant country.
That is correct. That is correct. And investment was flocking to it. Then they took, down through the years, really exact measures you're describing that are coming from some of these Democratic candidates, and the economy was destroyed. I mean, I hear this notion we have to have equality of income, equality of results, which I think runs counter to all human nature. You know what? A place like Venezuela has equality. Everybody's poor.
Do you think they'll be able to reverse
Everybody's
the tax cut
poor
plan?
in Venezuela, except for Maduro and a handful of his top military people. Is that what we want in America? We are growing right now.
So will the Dems be able to reverse your tax cut plan?
Never. Not under the present configuration. Look, first of all, if they want to try to raise taxes, it will be defeated in the Senate. It's Republican. I personally believe, even if it went beyond that, the president would veto any efforts to turn back his program.
How important?
We're doing what people said we couldn't do.
But how important
They said we couldn't grow at 3-4%. We're growing at 3-4%. Let's not mess with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
The congressional budget.
There's a tremendous surge in prosperity here, shared by the middle and lower middle income people.
The Congressional Budget Office is saying that the deficit is set to hit $897 billion this year. That would be the highest level since World War II. When does debt become a priority? Do you think the president, let's say he does have another term, will try to attack the entitlements?
Well, look, I think right now the two issues are maintain economic growth. You know, growth is the single biggest factor in these budget calculations. Growth brings income and revenues. And in fact, I haven't gone through it with a fine-tooth comb yet, but I will. I think I see that the CBO is acknowledging that our faster growth, which they did not predict, is now paying for over 80% of the tax cuts, okay? And I think you'll see more about that as we get through. The report just came out yesterday. Second point I want to make is we will have a tough spending budget coming up in a few weeks, a very tough spending budget with reductions of at least 5% across the board in non-defense accounts. So I think that's going to be very important. Let's minimize government where possible. Let's grow the economy to its max, and you will see the debt burden, which I follow. debt as a share of GDP will be coming down. And by the way, it already is.
Okay.
That's what happened during the Reagan years. That's what happened during the John F. Kennedy years, so I wrote about it in my book.
Yep.
That's the best way to measure
But
that.
Larry, you know what I don't understand? I mean, you're all about growth. You have been for all your entire career. Why are so many people worried about the slowdown? Why are we hearing some people say a recession is on the horizon?
You know, there's just, it's funny in this town, and I guess a little bit in New York, there's just a lot of pessimism. I don't.
Do you expect a recession this year or 2020?
I do not. I don't see it right now. If I look at financial indicators, credit spreads, the actual numbers, you know, GDP will come out a week late because the Commerce Department has to reopen. We've seen stuff like falling unemployment claims, rising manufacturing.
But what are the markets telling us, Larry? In the month of December, there was no high-yield debt issuance at all. Credit markets are still tight.
To come back.
They've come back a bit.
Come back. I like that. Profits, the mother's milk of stocks. I don't know who first said that.
You did.
Profits, the mother's milk of stocks, are rising. The early indications are they won't rise at 25%, but they're going to rise at 10 to 15%. I like that a lot. Interest rates, the level of rates are historically low.
So you're not worried about market volatility?
There's a million things to worry about when I get up in the morning, you know, mainly getting here on time so I could do this great interview. But I just want to say, if you look at the sum total of all the evidence right now, there's no recession out there. I am the happy warrior. I am an optimist. President Trump is an optimist. I think America, right now, we are the hottest economy in the world, and we should remain so.
We'll end it there. Larry Kudlow, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much.